Assalamu alaikum. My respected teachers and dear class fellows, let us revise the English portion of 11th July. In English, we studied the lesson Characters. The characters in this lesson are Pete, Tracy, Glenn, Wayne, Dawn, Mrs. Hunt, Miss Swan, Mrs. Jones, Mr. Brown, and Mrs. Brown. In this lesson, they all were taking a walk. Suddenly it started to rain. They looked for a shelter and they found a house. So they all got into the house. When they were in the house, children found that the hands something strange in Mr. and Mrs. Brown. They had 7 fingers and strange eyes. They told to the teacher, but the teacher ignored them. Mrs. Brown insisted children from opening the cupboards, but the Wayne, who was the naughtiest one, opened the cupboard. He saw many colored lights and many electronical system. They wanted to complain it to the teacher. When they went to the teacher, all teachers were drunk. Mr. and Mrs. Brown started a strange behavior. Children were frightened. They wanted to run, so they got to the back door for a run. But the door was locked, and they started to break the window pane, but it was unbreakable. While this, Mrs. Brown appeared, and she tried to convince them, but they were frightened and were not trusting them. Then Mrs. Brown brushed them away in the kitchen, and then she announced that they were alien. That and she told that she's taking the children home planet for scientific research. They all planned to break the equipments of Mr. Brown and Mrs. Brown. When the when they both heard about this idea, they got frightened about that. If they broke their equipments, then they can't go back to their home. So Mr. Brown and Mrs. Brown threw them away with their teachers, and they all escaped from them. And in English, we also studied adjectives in grammar part. Adjective, it is a part of speech which describes or modifies the noun. Example: black cat, round rug, 3 balls, etc. Adjective is basically attached with 3 types of questions of noun. They are which one, what kind, and how many. Example: which one of apple? Mine apple, or your apple, that apple, etc. What kind of apple? You can say it as red apple, yellow apple, green apple, etc. How many apples? Some apples, a few apples, or any number like 3 apples. Jazakumullahu khairan.